Hey, Janet here. And so in this video, I want to give some the initial things that if I were you, I would want to know if I am looking to work with me or someone like me. And what I'm wanting to really focus on is building my group training. So it's where we meet on Zoom. We would meet every week, and you have access to me to ask any questions, address your concerns in order to help with your business to business lead generation. Doesn't matter if you're new and just starting out, or if you have a lot of experience and you're looking for some, whether it be support, encouragement, someone to collaborate and give you honest feedback that's really going to be helpful for you. Also, if you're looking to hire someone, or maybe you have staff, like a sales marketing coordinator, executive virtual assistant, you could have them attend. And so basically, the way I'm setting it up, it's $129 a month. It's a pay as you grow your business. If you get busy, a lot of small businesses will get very busy and they'll say, Janet, can I pause? We need to hire a new technician. We're actually getting busy. You're helping us to bring business in. We're growing. We need to hire somebody, but I can't take care of current prospects and customers while I'm trying to hire and train a new technician. I've had that happen a lot. So of course you can pause. Um, Still, I think that's just something I'm offering. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. I think a lot of people don't fully realize what all's involved until they get started actually making the calls. It's kind of eye-opening. You leave a lot of messages. You're not always going to speak with the decision maker on that first call. It could take 5 to 10 calls and sending them emails. Maybe you reach out by LinkedIn or Facebook. There's a lot of ways to try to reach out to business owners to try to get their attention, or at least let you know if they're interested or not. We don't want to hear a no, but we do hear no's, and hearing them, it's really not, it's not that hard to hear a no, because they're saying no to what you're offering. They aren't saying, hey, you're just a complete jerk. They might say that, but if you know you're not a jerk, maybe they just don't really know how to say, I'm not interested, appreciate your efforts. Stop reaching out to me, because I can respect somebody that's really is not interested and they don't want to keep getting the calls. If people don't say anything, they aren't saying no. So it's a lot of times they're just like, I kind of like hearing from this person. They've got some good points. Maybe. Hmm, maybe I'll think about that. Okay. They keep calling. They really are showing that they want to earn my business. That can make a very positive impression. So when you continue to call and you keep a positive outlook, it shows you have credibility and it shows you have integrity. And I think people like to work with people. People of integrity like to work with people of integrity. That's what I believe. So don't fall into the pitfalls of trying to figure it all out on your own. Let me be your guide. And for a lot of people, it could also be just, how do you handle those feelings of rejection? Even though you're like, I know they're just rejecting my landscaping offer. They don't need landscaping because they live in a condo, or they have a industrial site that doesn't need landscaping, or the building owner deals with that. They aren't rejecting you as a person. They may appreciate your efforts. They just have no need. Sometimes it's about no trust. We just don't know. So we can't assume we know what somebody's thinking. I've done that and I'm wrong every single time, because people really, I don't believe, at least decision makers, are rarely just so at the point where let me say this, they tend to be very good people. Okay, and I've called all across this country, so I know decision makers are great human beings, and they just may not always be interested, or it could be bad timing. So when you are struggling, or you feel like you're stumbling and fumbling, you can just never quite get to where you're building that business or getting extra business, or you can never truly get ahead, I'll help overcome those challenges and difficulties. And someday I'll even talk about how I got started in this work, because it's not like I started out saying, hey, I just want to be, cold calling. It didn't start that way, but I don't have time on this. I also think a lot of people don't fully realize the value of business to business phone calls. Some people realize the value, but they still don't fully understand. And just collaborating, because I can't know sometimes what your preferences are. I can tell you what I would like to do, but that may not work for you. So I've worked with all kinds of people. Some people are very assertive, and some people consider themselves a highly sensitive person, and they kind of are held back a little more. They're a little more, um, uh, maybe, I don't know if withdrawn's the right word. But they tend to be a little bit quieter. They want to take a softer approach. They may not even want to make phone calls. They just only want to use email. That's okay. And then at some point you might want to use phone calls just to verify that your information is correct because you would like to send an email. That's not a difficult call to make. And if people are interested, you're probably, I'll say, hey, just you don't have to try and overcome an objection. It's good if you're willing to work on that. But if you're really someone that's really kind of having a challenge, and you feel insecure or you feel unprepared, I'll help get you to the point where you can at least make a call, verify someone's information, um, verify their email, so you can send them information. And then if you don't hear from them, maybe that's not as difficult to handle. So, that's my point here is no matter how you like to operate, whether you're somebody that you have no problem making phone calls, but maybe you aren't making a lot of progress, I can help you. If you're somebody that's very sensitive, you don't want to make as many calls, but you want to use the calls maybe to invite people to an event. That's a great way. To me, that's one of the easiest ways. Um, do it a survey, although surveys can also backfire, because people are like, "You're still just trying to sell me." Okay. It's kind of true, but it is a nice way to approach, because it's not just about, I want to schedule a meeting with you without them having the opportunity to learn more. So whatever you're feeling, whether it's some awkward feelings, you're a little weird, maybe you have an inner critic. I think we all suffer from something like that, the negative side. I'll tell you what's worked for me, and how to overcome, because it's not also it's so easy. So, and maybe you've paid a coach hundreds or thousands of dollars, you paid that up front, you felt like you made little to no progress, and they just want to talk, but they don't actually work with you. I help you do the actual work. I'll give you all the insider tips, techniques. I'll give you all the advice you need, and what's worked for me, what's worked for others. Also, sometimes seeing things from others' point of view, because we'll make assumptions, and a lot of times our assumptions just aren't. It could be true in some cases, but not all cases. Everybody has different thoughts and perspectives. And so we meet every week on Zoom, but you pay by the month, 129 monthly. I do offer you can attend one session, so you try it out before you actually purchase. I'll also do an initial consultation with you as well. And I don't expect there to be more than maybe 10, 20 people maximum as I grow this. I'm hoping to have, at least 10 by the end of the year, maybe more. I would hope to have more. But a lot's going to depend on how much help everyone needs. I find most business owners will have a specific question, like let's say they're working on their email template. Maybe they want me to look it over, give some suggestions on how to make it a little bit better. Are the links working? Whatever it is that you need help with on that, because then you're going to work on something else. And it's kind of like, okay, so for the next few days, you can work on sending out the emails, maybe making some calls if you're feeling that that's what you want to do, because that's what this is really all about. But I also am a believer that I'm not going to force you to do something if you're not ready, or it's just not something you even really want to work on. Or a lot of people will say, I want the calls, but I want somebody else to do it for me. I'm hoping to have virtual assistants that also join the membership. And of course, if you are a virtual assistant and you join and you want to be hired, I'll say, hey, hire this person. They have the time and they have the experience, plus they're part of the membership group. So they're also going to have the support and encouragement where we can collaborate and really make sure that everyone is successful. And I find that when I didn't have that, I felt like I was working kind of in this echo chamber. And I had a business owner that really didn't want to talk, didn't want to collaborate. The salespeople, one of them was pretty good, but other salespeople would just sort of sit back and like, "Where's my appointments? I'm expecting a lot of appointments." It I think it just kinda left that disconnect, because when I do talk, the salesperson I'm talking with, this individual was giving me a lot of information, a lot of help, because it was an industrial, they did industrial marketing, and they only worked with certain types of companies, and I had a real hard time understanding their criteria, especially when I started working with them. And, so I didn't feel that support, and I was kind of sometimes like, "Am I even doing this where it's paying off?" I Because I feel like, when I help my customers be successful, my gosh, it's just such a great day, and I feel more of that positive energy, whereas when I don't, it's really tough, and I kinda got to the point where I was like, "I just don't think this is working." So, things do take time, and that was more than 10 years ago, and, I've just learned a lot over the years. So those first calls, it can be very nerve-wracking. I feel it too, but if you're gonna feel anxiety, why not put it to good use? And, I'll tell you what's worked for me, and help you to be your best. So, um, whether you use other, like, direct mail, search engine optimization, other online marketing, maybe you do events, um, phone calls will still help convey your message. So, working as an independent contractor consultant, sometimes I'll even give demonstrations. I'll make a live call to help teach and inspire. I I used to do that, and sometimes you just never know how it might land. So it's a little bit nerve wracking, but it's also a lot of fun. It's energizing. And it also needs to be understood that as an independent contractor and professional consultant, I still need to charge a premium. And this is so I can know that you, as my customer, you are 100% committed. And so I can show up to give 100%. And I also have learned that most people, they don't mind spending the money as long as they know it's going to pay off, and working with somebody they can trust to be a guide. And I don't make as much money in the group training. If I did like a whole complete package where I do all the setup, do say 10, 20 hours of calls, which I can do that too. Prices start around $1,000. Um, but most people aren't going to want to pay me $1,000 to start. You kind of want to start in the group. Then you say, okay, Janet, can I just hire you for 2 or 3 hours? That's not going to cost you $1,000 if you're a member on the subscription. So that's kind of how I'm positioning that, because I really want people that are committed and that really do want quality work, and understand that you're gonna hear a lot of no's. You're sometimes you're going to um, have things where it's like, wow, I can even improve on this, and that's part of that process. And I just believe that in all the years I've been doing this, there's always that. Building the road to success, it does take time, and it's well worth the effort. So if you're starting to, let's say you want to work on a product or service that brings you a lot of profit, I can help you with that. If you're someone like me, you're kind of, getting where you want to work on something that brings you more joy, but maybe you don't make as much money, I can help you with that too. Because I'm not going to be the person that says, oh, you want to focus on this because it makes the most money. That's not true for everyone. Some people really do love a certain kind of work because it brings them the most joy. It may not bring them the most money. And I find sometimes people are a little surprised by that. And it's a nice feeling when you realize, okay, yeah, people do have different priorities, I guess is a good way to sum that up. So I can also help by giving an outsider's perspective, and I can help by making some initial calls just to kind of get that initial feedback from people in your market. To hear in their voice can really help you build your own marketing. So before you invest a lot of time and money in print or other marketing, sometimes making a few hours of calls to hear it from your own market's voice is can be extremely valuable. And I have a fictitious name. It's called Social Enterprisers. So technically, my business is Janet Schick, doing business as Social Enterprisers. So if you're a member, you become a social enterpriser. I just love it because you're social, but you're also a business, right? And I just feel like it gives that sense of community, and that's really what I'm trying to build. My website, phonecallsthatconvert.com, and you can always schedule a meeting with me from there. Um, or you can always call or email me as well. But as I'm doing these videos, I'm kind of starting out with them, and I hope to improve on them as well because I know in the beginning um, they just aren't as good, right? It takes practice like anything. So I appreciate you watching. You have questions, you want to consider working with me, reach out, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks so much.